Identity identifiers, the puzzle pieces of identity. Identity identifiers are small pieces of our personalities that we pick up as we go through life. Some of these we pick up consciously, and some we pick up unconsciously. We collect thousands and thousands of these in our lives, and together they make up a big part of our personalities and help us decide how we make decisions in our lives. As a small child, this little girl reads her favorite book, in where the colors blue, pink, and purple are prevalent. A few years later, she becomes attached to a doll with the same three colors, and feels good when playing with this doll. In her later years, she begins to identify those three colors as something that brings her joy. This continues on as she gets older, and eventually, by her identifying herself with those three colors, they become part of who she is. Most identity identifiers we choose are by experiences or our perceptions of what we see. There are some identity identifiers that we are born with, and others that we have control over. Here are a few examples of identity identifiers that we are born with. Your gender. In general, we are all born male or female, and at the age that we realize this is when that particular identity identifier is added to our identity. Another is hair, skin, and eye color. As we gather this information, we add these identity identifiers to our identity. Nationality or ethnicity is another identifier that we are born with. And as we realize our nationality or ethnicity, we add yet another identifier to what we identify ourselves with. Let's take a look at other common identity identifiers and see how they help us to identify ourselves as human beings. Zodiac sign. Some people use zodiac sign to identify a piece of their identity and that symbol related with it. Tradition, religion. As we grow up, we are influenced by the traditions and religion in the household that we are brought up in. And in many cases, we add it to our identity identifiers. Nationality and its history. In discovering our nationality, we oftentimes attach part of its history to our customs and part of our identity. Customs of this nation may behold a part of our destiny as well. Toys, books, sports, and music. In growing up, many of us pick up parts of our identity that are influenced by characters in toys that we play with or in books we may have read. Being on a sports team, we may add that type of sport as part of our identity. In some music or in songs that become our favorites, many times it's our favorites because we relate ourselves with that song in some way. Schools, organizations, mascots, or symbols. In many cases, in a gesture of loyalty, people identify themselves with the symbols found in their school or organization, such as mascots or symbols found in their coat of arms. Home environment. Financial status. Our home environment, whether living in the country or the city, we attach an identity to the environment in many cases as part of our identity. Our financial status, whether rich or poor, we often attach a small piece of that also as part of our identity. As we pick and choose the pieces of our identity puzzle throughout our lives, we begin to create part of our personalities, which will affect our decision-making or attitude throughout our lives.